Hi guys, Dave and Todd here, and the question du jour is, why is water leaking out of the outdoor unit of my mini split? And the answer is that if the unit is in heating mode, that's supposed to happen. Why? Well, in the winter time, your outdoor unit acts the same way as your indoor unit does in the summertime. Summertime, your indoor unit, the coil is super cold. There's a lot of moisture in the air, humidity in the air, and that moisture condenses whenever it touches anything colder than the dew point. Okay, so let's say you have a glass of water and it's filled with ice water sitting on your table in the summertime. Outside of that glass of water is colder than the air temperature. The moisture in the air condenses on that and drips down your glass. Same way as the coil of your indoor unit in the summertime is colder than the air temperature, colder than the dew point, and the moisture in the air condenses on that coil. It drips down to the drain pan of your indoor unit, and it flows through the drain through a condensate hose outside your house. Okay, so in the winter time, this unit now is working as the expansion unit. So this unit, the cold air is coming through. This unit has the cold coil. And why is that? Well, same way in the summertime, the heat in the summertime goes from your indoor, is transferred to the outdoor. In the wintertime, the heat is transferred from outdoors indoors because the coil here is colder. And you could say, well, how much heat is there outside in the wintertime? The answer is, well, it's all relative. There's enough to be able to transfer inside. Okay, so let's say that it's 55 degrees out and the relative humidity is 48 degrees or something, and the coil here is 35 degrees. The moisture in the air is going to condense on this coil and it's drip down through a hole in the bottom here, okay? Let's say that instead that it's 25 degrees and the dew point, there's still a dew point even if it's below freezing. So here in America, our freezing point is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 degrees Fahrenheit, and your dew point is 20 degrees, and your coil, let's say, is 12 degrees. Your coil temperature now is below freezing, and your dew point is below freezing. So the moisture in the air now freezes, and it collects on the coil. Turn this around a little bit because we'll need to show the back of this momentarily anyway. So the moisture is going to collect on these fins of the outdoor unit, and that moisture is going to be in the form of frost. So instead of condensation liquid form, the condensation is frost. And that's not a problem for a little bit in the beginning, as long as not too much frost is accumulated on those coils. But what happens when there's a lot of frost? Well, now all of a sudden these coils here, these fins, it's not a good heat exchanger, so it can't soak up the heat as well. And so the unit actually now re-reverses, and temporarily it goes into heating mode for the indoor unit, and that makes this, cooling mode for the indoor unit makes this warm, and so it melts the frost on the outdoor unit. And so the accumulation of frost, probably there's going to be a lot more water coming out of here when it's in defrost mode. The unit has sensors to know when it needs to defrost. It only lasts maybe 10-15 minutes. On your indoor unit, probably has something like DF or H5 or HS or whatever to show that the unit's in defrost mode. So don't be alarmed if you don't think that's an error. It's supposed to be doing that, needs to do that in order to clear the coil of the frost. And when it does, the water flows through. If you get down here, Todd, water flows through this hole, all right? So this is the lowest point of this outdoor unit. And we provide one of these. Probably most companies provide one of these, so you can channel which direction you want this water to go, okay? Now what happens though if you have a sidewalk and this is channeled this way, say. You don't want to channel it toward the sidewalk, channel away, but if water is accumulating in the sidewalk and it's 25 degrees outside, well, you got a problem because that water is going to freeze. All right? So you need to think about that, and we, for instance, this right here is from Amazon or other fine retailers near you. You can put this on your elbow here and then channel this wherever you want, all right? So that's kind of how this works. There's a lot less moisture in the, lower humidity in the air. Relative humidity could be 30% in the summer, and there's 4 times more moisture in the air than when it's 30% in the winter, but there still is some moisture, so there still will be something coming out the bottom here, but more will be coming out when it's defrosting because all that's melting off all at once. And Todd, any questions to add to that? Or
Yeah,
concerns?
how important is it for that tubing to have slope away from the unit?
Yeah, good point. Water does not flow uphill. So you can imagine if you have this on the bottom here. And by the way, these feet are such that you're probably going to, I mean, this is kind of ridiculous the way we raise this up, but you're going to have to raise these feet up a little bit for this.
Get the clearance for the elbow.
To have a clearance here, but I mean, when this clicks in here, if this tube is going uphill at all, you're going to have that water freezing inside the tube, and that will be a problem that you don't want to have. So make sure that water likes to flow downhill, so make sure you somehow channel the water to flow downhill. Thanks.